What up? How's everybody doing out there? Let me tell you something. The Dems are losing. It's been driving them crazy. And that's driving them because Trump is doing all the shit. They're two faces. They're two faces that every day do anything to get reelected so that they can live their posh, cozy lifestyle on your fucking dime while not doing a damn thing after getting elected. Then they'll come back 4 years or 6 years or whatever. How many? It's like 6 for congressmen or something, right? They'll come back a few years later and they'll say, oh yeah, I'm going to go to Washington, fight for you guys. And they'll do shit. Debbie Stabenow voted no. By the way, that's why we got to vote for John James, man. We got to vote more conservatives in Michigan. We got to get rid of these people. They go against everything decent and good. Let me tell you something. Trump is fulfilling campaign promises. That makes them sick to their stomach. Under the economy, it's Trump. It ain't that fucking sissy Obama. Okay? Let me tell you something about Obama. Okay? That motherfucker raised the debt. He spent more money in 8 years than every president that has ever been in office combined. $20 trillion. That's too much money to be in debt. And what did he accomplish? Zero. He accomplished nothing. All he did was write a bunch of unconstitutional directives, bastardize and politicize our intelligence agencies and the IRS to go after conservatives. That's all he did. Sick of that motherfucker, man. And I know a lot of black folks is tired of his ass too. Let's not forget where this recovery began. Motherfucker sounds like Porky Pig on crack. Unless somebody's telling him what to say. The Dems lost again today because they voted to say, you know what, we're going to confirm Judge Kavanaugh tomorrow. We're tired of playing all these games. And I'm glad that some of these conservatives are growing some fucking balls and say, you know what, enough of these goddamn games. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. I say fuck all I want. I shouldn't say that. But they're tired of all these damn games. It's like, nah, man, we're tired of these games. We're going to vote for tomorrow. You know? Now here comes the bullies. They go crying. Why are you going to vote? You hate women. Ain't got nothing to do with hating women. One bubblehead from California who was totally unconvincing testimony, in my opinion. See, you know what? I will give one thing I don't like. They're like, well, you know, I'm sure she was the victim of something. No, she wouldn't. No, she wouldn't. This was all planned. This was all planned and executed. They found themselves somebody willing to make a jackass out of themselves, somebody they could use. Okay, yeah, she is a victim. I will agree with that one. But she's been a victim her whole life. That's been her lot in life. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Yeah, you're a victim. You probably your kitchen's probably worth more than my house. You're a victim. You get to fly all over the world. I've been out of the state once my whole life. You know, with my white privilege and all that, you know. I was able to go out of the state once. I'm sorry, maybe a couple of times. I went to Cedar Point. That's technically out of state. That's really not that far. She got to fly all over the world. But she's scared of flying. Don't forget that one. Right? Even her homies said, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Now look, there's a lot of you young folks that are getting wrapped up into this fucking tribalistic bullshit, women against men, black versus white, and all that other bullshit. It's a divide tactic. Divide and conquer. And you are the useful idiots that make it happen. Let me explain this to you so you'll understand. Just because a woman gets raped or sexually assaulted, it doesn't mean that every woman in the country was raped and or sexually assaulted. And it was an allegation. Now, if you guys want to say, well, it's not a court of law, it's not a criminal proceeding. Oh, really? Well, Judge Kavanaugh didn't have no lawyers there with him, but she had lawyers there with her. Why was she allowed to have lawyers there if it wasn't a criminal proceeding or if it wasn't a judicial proceeding, in that sense? Why was she allowed attorneys? What did she need attorneys for? It's not a court of law, right? So get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Judge Kavanaugh presented convincing, compelling testimony, and nobody corroborated her story. In other words, she's full of shit. And the Dems are mad because they're going to go in with the vote. I sure hope that Debbie Sababack changes her mind and stops going along with these losers that are running the Democratic Party and votes yes on Kavanaugh tomorrow because, look, the voters of this state have had it. It's people in Michigan have had it. Why do you think we voted for Trump? We sure as hell are going to vote for Hillary. Who the fuck going to vote for Hillary, man? Nobody wanted Hillary here. We had Jennifer Granholm for quite some time. And you know what? She fucked this state all up. Now people want to vote in Jennifer Granholm Part 2. I just hope we got good enough sense to vote for Bill Schuette. He ain't my first pick as a Republican, someone who's running on the Republican ticket. But I sure as hell pick him over this, whatever the hell her name is. I don't even know her name. Gretchen something or other. Gretchen. Fuck you, bitch. I sure as hell don't want you in office. You're gonna fuck this state up. All you want to do is be a supporter of welfare and destruction, because that's what the Democrats have become. It makes me sick. Well, I used to be a dumbass Democrat when I was younger. I believed all that bullshit. Until you get out in the real world, you realize that ain't how shit works. But the Dems are going crazy. Now you're gonna get Judge Kavanaugh on there. You know what, man? I'm telling you, if anything happens to the Supreme Court after this is just icing on the cake. Like if Ruth Bader Ginsburg happens to pass away, I'm not wishing anything bad on the woman, but let's just face facts, man. She is so old. I mean, she is like old. She could barely hold her damn head up. Which is pretty sad because my grandma was 91, she just, boom, she just went. But until then, she had all of her mind together, I'll tell you that. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she could barely string a fucking sentence together, man. Last time I saw her, she was all, she looked like a fucking mummy, man. I'm telling you, she looked bad. I'm telling you, if something happens to Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Trump gets to pick yet another Supreme Court justice, you think that what happened to Judge Kavanaugh is bad? Holy shit, man! They'll probably accuse the next nominee of eating fucking baby sandwiches or some shit. They'll accuse him of being like Hannibal Lecter. He's a murderer and rapist and a necrophiliac and all kinds of shit. They'll go all out. They'll fall out on the floor like a 5-year-old that didn't get his favorite toy at Toys R Us or some shit, Because that's what they really act like. They act like a bunch of fucking spoiled-rotten children. I don't care how poised and professional you sound. When you're full of shit, you're full of shit. And I can't believe that these paid protesters. Oh yeah, by the way, so-called comedian, the fat one. Yeah, you're not funny, okay? And your little model friend, she ain't nothing but a bubblehead. She's a model. She's up there talking about women's rights and all this other shit when she uses her body to make money. That's what trips me out about these fucking people, man. Don't objectify me. You're a fucking model. Your career is based on objectification, man. You take sexy photos to promote products and or yourself. It's like, isn't that what objectification is? Fucking dumbasses. And they really do try. You know what? Like I said, I'm gonna give them an A for effort. They really do try. You don't get me up there. You ain't gonna bully me, I'll tell you that right now. You bully me in the hallway, you'll get knocked out. I'll knock your ass right the fuck out. I won't even care. Let them try to kick me out of the Senate or the House of Representatives after I get elected. By the time they get around to kicking me out, it'll be election time again. Shit. Come on to my elevator bullying me. I ain't gonna need no security to get rid of your ass. I'll pick you by your trousers, throw you out of the fucking building. You don't care about women. No, it's not that, bitch. Look, Christine Blasey Ford is a flake. She a bubblehead. I don't even know how the hell she got a doctorate, to be honest with you. I think her parents just paid for it. I ain't never seen somebody so flaky. She's like, and do Democrats have tear ducts? I didn't think demons had tear ducts, Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Actually, I think that, I think there is a path. Satan did cry. So it's like, you're going to tell me they worse than Satan. Because every time they got, no tears come out. Notice that? Every time one of these motherfuckers cry, one tear comes out of their fucking head. And then she was laughing and carrying on like nothing happened. Oh yeah, something happened to her. Bitch is crazy. Oh, by the way, people in California, I'm gonna let you know something. She was teaching your kids. I'm telling you that right now, man. She was teaching your kids. I just saw some comments or something. I don't know, man. I didn't catch it on the screen, though. So if whoever hit me up, man, thanks for your comment, whether it's negative or positive. I don't really, if it's negative, that's fine. I'm always open to other people's opinions. This is my own personal opinions about the matter. I think that Judge Kavanaugh deserves to be on the Supreme Court because he's qualified. He's got like an army of women behind him, backing him up. And all these other women talking about he don't care about women. He's a sexual predator and all that. I hate to tell you, I don't think 700 women would come to my defense. I don't even think I know 700 women. I don't know 700 women, and I sure as hell, I'll be honest with you, it's like, when you tell the truth to people, it's like you lose friends real quick. Like if you're, okay, so let me put to you this way. If you're a liberal, if you're in with that crowd with the social justice and all that other shit, just because, you don't want to be ostracized from your peers, right? Tell them you don't believe one of the things that they promote, and watch how quick you get ostracized. Watch how quick you get thrown out of the clique. You'll get thrown out quick as hell. It's only right. I can't really read all the comments right now because I'm driving. I appreciate all the comments, whether or not, like I said, whether or not they're good or bad. But the Dems' desperation is getting, it's reaching a fever pitch. I'm telling you, it's like I would not be surprised at all what comes out of their mouth next. Because let's just face facts. It's like you have to keep, look, any of us that has a job that goes out there and works hard every day knows for a matter of fact, this is not a partisan thing. This is whether or not you're on the left or the right, or if you're center left, center right, doesn't matter, right? If you go to your job and you don't deliver at your job, what's going to happen? You're going to get fired. I mean, that's at the extreme end. You might get your ass chewed out first, but you will be fired. If you go to work and you don't do your job consistently on a daily basis, they ain't gonna let you stay there for 6 years. That's for sure. Excuse me, because they're gonna come to you and they're gonna say, hey, you're not doing your job. Well, for all of you that live in a highly liberal Democrat area or progressive area, that's more than likely going to shit, if it hasn't already. Go out. Look around. Look, I lived in Detroit for years. All I had to do to know that the people that were running the city were a bunch of fuck-ups was walk outside. That's all I needed to see. Trash everywhere. There's crime all over the place. I knew all about it. It's crazy. But the Democrats keep telling people, it's like, we're fighting for the people. Fighting for who, man? Your constituents live in hellholes. Look at Chicago. It got so bad in Chicago, they had a rally and they told Rahm Emanuel, step down. I never thought I'd see that. But good for them. Good for them for waking up and saying, hey, you know what, we've had it. We've had it with your crap. He's not going to run for re-election. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get somebody in there that's better. Let's hope they have the good sense to elect somebody that's better. And like I said, they could be on the left. If they're center left and they're willing, if they're a reasonable person, whether it be a man or woman, if they're a reasonable person, they're open to debate and they're open to better ideas. At least have that. Let's not get these hardcore progressives in there, because all it seems like they want to do is turn society upside down on its head. I don't know if you if the younger generation heard this saying, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Men and women have been living like they've been living for millennia, and it's worked out. The human race has progressed organically on its own. We don't need somebody to force ideas on us. We really don't. I mean, as far as like all this integration, people talk about integration, inclusivity. I've never met people more prejudiced and biased and uninclusive than the people on the left. If you have one idea that rubs them the wrong way or goes against the grain of their progressive ideology, you will be immediately demonized. And I think what that is, what's happened over the last couple of decades is that's rubbed so many people the wrong way that now the Democratic Party is basically falling apart, man. Meanwhile, Trump's just sitting back and watching the show. If I was in his position, I'd be watching the show too. They said something about, like white women were laughing at the Trump rally when he was making fun of Ford. Who wouldn't laugh? When you know that this allegation is false, when the FBI, notice how the FBI was the Democrats' best friends when they was investigating conservatives. But what's this? Something about the decades of some militant something. Yeah. Now fucking workers, $12, $14. Look, man, it's like you're gonna bring up like, the minimum wage. Let me tell you something about minimum wage, okay? If you don't want to work a minimum wage job, then don't work a minimum wage job. I got guys that went to high school. Oh, sorry about that. I must have hit a gate. Somebody mentioned something about, I don't know what they said, something about $13, $14, $15, $20s. Because I thought the same way. If you don't want to work a job making less than $15 an hour, don't. Get an apprenticeship. Be an electrician. Man, I got friends that are electricians and plumbers that make $80,000, $100,000 a year, man. You don't need to have a fancy-ass college education to get on in life. I mean, if you're cool with flipping burgers and making tacos or whatever for the rest of your life, that's fine. But I mean, think about it also from a consumer perspective. Are you gonna pay $20 for a fucking taco or a hamburger because the employees there want to make $15 an hour and they can't even get the orders right half the time? I'd like to read you guys' comments, but like I said, I don't want to read the comments and crash. But I'll read them later. But like I said, look, when you have your own house, when you have your own car, when you pay your own bills, okay, you're thankful when jobs are plentiful, right? You're thankful when the economy is going good. You're thankful if you get a tax cut. Now, I know that the tax, a lot of people keep saying that the tax cuts, they don't see no difference. It's not tax season yet. You got to wait until next year when you file your taxes. Then you'll see the results, right? And then if the results ain't what Trump promised, then I'll bitch about it too. Because look, if he fucks up and he does something that I don't like, I will not hesitate to point it out. But the Dems, look, I don't think Judge Kavanaugh is a partisan conservative, okay? Now, I don't know everything about the man's record, but they say he's a constitutionalist, and that's what we need on the Supreme Court. We need somebody that's going to follow our founding document, not what everybody else wants it to be, what it is, right? If the Constitution, like for all you younger folks that think that the First Amendment, is wrong and that hate speech should be outlawed and all this other, no, the First Amendment was made for hate speech. It was created for that single purpose. It was created so that people can say things that are unpopular without getting burned at the stake, okay? Because back in, think about where they came from. If you would have said King George is a punk bitch, your ass would have got killed, okay? So that's why the First Amendment's there. The First Amendment ain't there to protect the popular opinion of society. It ain't there for that. It's there to protect people that have unpopular ideas, okay? Second Amendment ain't up for debate. That's to protect us. That's to protect us from a tyrannical government. It's not about hunting as much as, a lot of dumbasses think it is. It's not about hunting. It's about protecting ourselves from tyranny. Right? It's a Bill of Rights. This protects everybody. This is what, your politicians, whether they be on the left or the right, this is what they won't tell you. Because they have a certain agenda to push through, they're not going to tell you that. The Bill of Rights is there to protect all Americans, okay? Everybody. You don't like guns, that's fine, you don't like guns. Nobody said you had to buy one. And let me tell you something, it's like, you don't want the government to get involved with that and say you have to buy one. Because then a gun will be fucking stupid expensive, because then it'll be mandatory. It's just like when they tried to make healthcare mandatory and that you pay a fine, well, of course, the fines got bigger and bigger and bigger. How's that going to help poor people that don't have insurance? I don't get that. But anyway, look, November, however you vote, okay? And like I said, I reserve the right to vote the way I want. I'm going to vote conservative because that's just the things I believe. I believe in conservative values. I don't believe in all this um, you know, partisan bullshit. I'm center right. You know, I'm liberal on a lot of shit that a lot of people would not think that I am, but I am. If you want your government working for you, you have to go out there and do your part and vote. But if you're gonna vote on things that are so, like nonsense, like fairy tale stuff that the progressive left wants to peddle, okay, that's not the real world. And if you go anywhere else in any other country, you will not get the type of representation you get here. We are free. And you're free to do and live your life how you want. I'm just saying that the Dems are going crazy and they're using all kinds of immoral and unethical tactics and screaming like a bunch of little crybabies because they're not getting their way. And Trump's laughing at it. I would laugh at him too. I hope Trump's laughing at him because I would. We elected the right man to be president, right? It's like there's a lot of us that didn't like Obama. We didn't like him. That was it. I didn't hear no death threats against Obama. I didn't hear, of people trying to send Obama poison. I didn't hear none of that kind of crazy ass nonsense when Obama was president. We as conservatives just didn't like the guy. We didn't like his policies. We didn't like anything about his presidency. But he was the president. A lot of people voted for him. The American people had spoken, and we were like, well, our hands are tied. The American people spoke, and they said they wanted Obama. A lot of them people regretted that decision. Twice, unfortunately. Let's just be honest, though. It's like the Republicans that they had up there against Obama. McCain, who was it? McCain and... who's that other cat? The guy with the magic underwear and shit. Can't remember his name. Anybody in the comment section, shoot me his name real quick. His name eludes me. Mitt Romney. That's what it is. Yeah. I didn't like either one of them guys, to be honest with you. I didn't like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney comes from, money. John McCain, he's just a warmonger. You would think that somebody that was in war themselves and went through all kinds of hell would not be so willing to send other young men to do that. But that's neither here nor there. If the Democrats want to get back voters, what they need to do is they need to go back to being blue collar, old school JFK Democrats, people that believe in the Constitution, people that believe in them, that love America, people that respect our flag, people that respect our founding ideals. When they get back to that, they probably get some more supporters back. But what's going to happen between now and then, who knows? But anyway, I'd like to thank everybody that watched the video. Click on the like button if you like it. Click on the dislike button if you dislike it. That's fine. We all have our different opinions, and we're entitled to it. I'm out.